Hey everyone, welcome you all to our podcast at Acumen. We are one stop for everything into aviation. Today I have with me Mr. Ameya Gaur, who is the head for our digital business vertical. Hey Ameya.
Hi Apurv.
So thanks a lot first of all for taking out time and joining us for our monthly podcast. In the interest of people who are joining in for the first time, both for the podcast and also at the organization, it would be great to have your introduction in your own words.
Sure. So first of all, thanks for having me. Very excited to be on this podcast. My career in aviation basically started back in 2006 with Jet Airways. I joined as a STEM graduate in the base maintenance sector of aviation. Worked in Jet Airways for 3 years before moving into the technical consultancy field of basically providing services to the leasing and finance industry. That's where my career in Acumen started 12 years back in 2009. Over the span of the 12 years, I've had the absolute pleasure of working with some great people at Acumen and also growing my career in 4 different business verticals. The current one, which is the digital business, being my latest one. So I've been heading this digital business vertical since October 2019. Okay. So my basically academically a professional expertise, if I were to say that would be that I do hold an MBA in aerospace and aviation. And I'm also a ISTAT certified appraiser, where I contribute heavily on the valuations business. That's pretty much me.
Awesome. So just to clarify a bit, when you say that you are an MBA from aviation, did you pursue your MBA right after you graduated?
No, absolutely not. So I did my MBA from Toulouse Business School as an executive MBA, and it was a program in collaboration with IIM Bangalore. And I did that the 2018-2020 batch, basically. It's a 2-year executive program.
So would it be correct to summarize that you do not need to have an aviation degree, a graduate degree, to enter into aviation?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So actually, I am a STEM graduate in with honors in chemistry. Okay. So I did move into aviation mostly by accident. Okay. So to answer your question, you just need a passion for airplanes, and you can get into it.
Amazing. So this is for everyone who is listening to our podcast, that even if you have graduated from any specific subject, or if you are even an experienced fellow, right? But if there's a spark in you to enter the field of aviation, you can definitely do so. And for that, all you have to do is to find the right mentor and start networking. Is that right, Ameya?
Absolutely.
Cool. So Ameya, before we jump into the questioning thing, right? So just let me give you a sense of how we have planned today's podcast. So actually my team reached out to our aviation community and in search of some really interesting questions, right? And what we thought was that because you come with a tremendous experience into aviation, and you would be the right person, a go-to person, to add substantial value in telling our community that what is the direction we are moving towards, both from the airline perspective and from the back-end perspective as well. So let's start with the questions.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Fire away.
Okay, awesome. So the most frequent question that was asked is that what made you to decide that you have to pursue aviation?
Yeah, so as I said, it's I'm a STEM graduate, so it was actually I did not choose aviation. Aviation chose me. It was by accident that I landed a job in Jet Airways in the engineering, quality, and tech services domain. So while I was not an engineer working on the aircraft, but I was very close to it in supporting the back-end services. And that's where the career basically started. And as more involved I was in the overall back office operations of aircraft maintenance, and the more I got to know about the aviation leasing and finance industry, and that's when the opportunity actually arose with Acumen Aviation in 2009. I decided to give it a shot because it was very close to where my passions lie, and that's where I basically decided to move into a startup in technical consultancy and advisory services. So yeah, it's totally by chance that I'm
awesome. Okay. That's great. But given the fact that even if it was not by chance,
yeah,
it is very much possible if you write.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So there are many avenues in aviation. Yes, it is unfortunate that when most people talk about aviation, they think it is pilots, flight crew or cabin crew and maintenance. That's all they know, but there's a whole ecosystem of other activities that happen in aviation, and there are a lot of opportunities in this space.
That's amazing. So that's one takeaway for all our viewers as well as our listeners as well. So yeah, the next question is based on a high-end statistics, and this question comes as, so we are expecting the aircraft fleet to expand to around 50,000 aircrafts by 2040, right? While all the established markets in Europe and North America are expected to grow by around 80% and 40% respectively, whereas Asia Pacific is expecting a growth of around 140%. Why is there such a contrasting difference between the two geographies? What's your take on that?
So it's not really surprising. The numbers are not very surprising. It's because two reasons. One is the economic changes that are happening in the Asia Pac region, whereas not the Americas as well as Europe have been mature markets for a long period of time now. In very layman terms, how they term it as developed and developing economies. So Asia Pac has been an emerging player in this sector. The second reason is the overall growth of infrastructure as well as the economic improvement, I would say, in the economic state of people in this region, right? There is more disposable income available, there is a lot of industrial growth happening, and there is a lot of growth happening in allied sectors of maintenance and other areas of aviation. China is already leading in the aviation leasing business now, although they started relatively very late in this. And India, with its latest Gift City initiative, is also very hot on heels of the leasing market. So this is the reason basically why Asia Pac is having that projection of 140% plus growth. The fleets, the amount of population that will move in the transport industry, especially by air travel propensity, it is going to grow, and this is exponential growth which will be witnessed by the entire world in this sector, basically, in this market.
Got it. That sounds really promising, at least not just for the aviation industry but also for Indian economy and Asia Pac as well.
Yes.
Awesome. So this one is a very curious question, right? And it makes a lot of sense while I read it. So what it says is that while we have witnessed a lot of digital transformation, adoption of digital technologies at the front end of aviation, right? What we see is that the customer end has been at the receiving point of all these digital services, right? While we go at the airports, we see all these kiosks, all these check-in facilities have been digitized and a lot of it, right? But we also realize that the aviation industry, while it has a great front end in terms of digital infrastructure, the back end operations are still very legacy type, right? Or maybe in a blunt way, it's very outdated, right? There's a lot of paperwork that goes around, and there's this mindset of a slower adoption of technology. So while this pandemic happened and the 2 years have been really, I would say, they have actually enabled a faster adoption of technology than the entire last 50 years, I would say, right? So what's your take on digital adoption, very specific to the back-end operations of your industry?
Sure. So what you have touched upon is what we call as passenger centricity in terms of the operations, right? So the journey, it has always been the case that the passengers have enjoyed the benefits of digital transformation, because every airline wants to create that competitive advantage of giving a very seamless journey to the passenger, thereby garnering their loyalty towards that airline. But when we talk about especially the leasing and finance industry, which is kind of the real back end of the overall sector, there has been adoption, but there has been adoption only to satisfy certain needs of the business. In the last 2 years, the lack of travel and the lack of ability to actually manage the physical assets on the ground has actually changed the mindset towards adopting more digital technologies and digitizing the overall operations as to how you manage the assets. So that is a very welcome thing and a very positive outcome of this pandemic, which otherwise has had nothing but negative outcomes, right? But it has certainly accelerated people's viewpoint towards the digital transformation of their operations. It has given companies like Acumen a clear runway into where we wish to be and what we need to provide as solutions to our customers. So it's certainly been a very positive outcome in that aspect, and it is exciting to watch the demand increasing for digital transformation and for software platforms in this industry now.
Got it. That's really nice. So while you also spoke about Acumen, right? So it has paved a kind of a solid roadmap. So that brings me to my personal. So that question comes from my side, right? So all these digital transformation solutions, right? What we hear every day, buzzwords like AI, ML, right? All of these come with an associated output, right? Yes. Whenever a company, let's say a lessor or a financing entity wants to transform itself from an aviation perspective, what they expect is improved efficiency, right? Or maybe overall improvement in resource productivity, better operational management, yes, right? Better data management. So how do you relate to all of that with your roadmap, right? Very specific, because Acumen has been predominantly a solid player in terms of the services, right? While there is a roadmap now for digital business. So what is your alignment with all these value propositions when your digital business is concerned?
Yeah, so I mean, looking backwards on our 12-year journey, we started the digital business vertical only 2 years back. And the reason was that we accumulated a wealth of expertise, experience and knowledge in this industry. But at the time that we were running all the services verticals and we were delivering services to our end customers, we also realized that digital solutions to augment these services would provide much more efficiency to our end customers. And that is the reason why we essentially started the digital business journey in Acumen, pivoting ourselves to not only a services company but also a product company. Right now, talking about alignment, so it's very closely aligned, because while we deliver services, we also get feedback from our customers as to how our services are making a difference to them, and at the same time what could essentially help us deliver a better value to the customers. And at the same time, even if they do not take services from us, a digital solution is still going to be a longer term strategy for maintaining, sustaining and improving the efficiency for their operations as they scale. So it is actually not rocket science to know that, okay, as you scale your operations from a 20 aircraft, 30 aircraft fleet to a 350 aircraft fleet, you cannot continue to scale your manpower in the same direction. So you have to have a digital solution to go along with it to maintain that competitive advantage. And that's what we took a leaf out of our services, and that's where we decided to go into the digital side. to answer your third part as to how the Sparta product actually aligns in terms of the AI/ML or those technologies. So we have chosen our battles very carefully in this aspect. The reason is that the industry that we serve, the data is highly sensitive, and at the same time the data is highly specialized to aviation industry. Whereas artificial intelligence and machine learning has a necessity of a extremely large amount of data to actually master that art.
Makes sense.
And that is simply not available. Either it is not available by virtue of just not existing, or it is existing but it is not available because of the data sensitivity and it is not to be shared. So when we have looked at these areas of data sources, what we have realized is we should be very careful of how we position our AI/ML journey, and therefore we have picked up only certain use cases or business cases to actually apply AI/ML into. And yes, we are very bullish about the future of AI/ML, but we are also extremely cautious of not overdoing it for the sake of it, and only deliver AI/ML models in areas where we see an immediate ROI happening for our customers. So that's where we actually position ourselves.
That's great. That's great to hear as well, because what I have been in my past, throughout the experience, what I have also understood from my mentors has been that AI/ML not necessarily have to be developed for everything, right? Because you might be creating a lot of solutions, right? Let's say 10s of 20s of solutions, but and not necessarily every solution needs an AI/ML. It at the end of the day, it only comes at, okay, what is the investment and what is the ROI for your end customer?
Yes.
If your customer has to pay a big amount for a smaller improvement in output, then it does not even make sense.
Yes.
Cool. So probably my last question, right? Maybe if you come up with an interesting point, I might ask a couple more. But yeah. So what's your vision with your digital business vertical? You talked about Sparta. So is the product about your vertical, or do you have a long-term roadmap for it? So where do you see yourself and the digital business as a whole in 3 to 5 years of time frame?
So to answer your first part, Sparta is basically a suite of 6 applications at this point in time, but all of the 6 applications are catering to the overall asset life cycle, right from the time it actually comes out of the factory at the manufacturer to the time that it goes to the graveyard to be parted out. So it actually complements the entire asset management life cycle, as we call it. And whether it is an airline customer or a lessor or a financier, we have solutions for all their needs.
Okay.
So that's how the product is positioned, or the platform is positioned. The vision for the platform is essentially to continue to push the boundaries of the platform capabilities, to ensure that we keep on our eyes and ears open for our customers' feedback, to see where they need more solutioning. We are also technologists at heart, so we are keeping a watch on new technologies coming in, which will offer, at the end of the day, it all comes down to what value we add for our customers, and therefore any kind of technology which further improves our efficiencies, further improves the platform, we are game for implementing those or exploring those. We also have a vision for the next 3 to 5 years to certainly become a well-established solutions provider, not only in the platform product base, but also in terms of digital expertise to the customers when they want to undertake their digital transformation journeys. So regardless whether they take the Sparta platform as their preferred choice, or whether they decide to engage us for implementing a very robust digital transformation journey, we are willing to offer those solutions to them. And that's how we see that we will become a very established player in this market, serving the markets that we love, serving our customers that we really absolutely take pride in. And we will just continue this journey towards making breakthroughs in this digital environment.
That's amazing. And so, yeah, as I said, so a question popped up in my mind. So currently, this business is new, right? As you rightly said, it started around 2 years back. What's your current strength in terms of your team, your internal verticals, and how do you see it scale over the period of time?
So we set up the business vertical as I said in October 2019, and we established a team of 10 members. Initially there were 10 members, which now currently stands at 16. 2 years down the line. Despite the pandemic, because of the demand that we saw, we also decided that we need to kind of have a more diverse skill set in the team. So currently we have 4 core teams or sub teams, I should say, within the business vertical. One is obviously the digital sales. The second is the product support and customer success. The third is actually the development. And the fourth is the digital advisory services team. So basically the product development team is probably the biggest resource pool, because we have front end, back end developers, we have the quality assurance team, so on and so forth, and the rest of the teams kind of rally around the product team, bringing in leads, helping our customers onboard them on the platform, help them through their familiarization with the platform, and subsequently help them in achieving the efficiencies that they want. And the other teams in Acumen which deliver services are also what you can say the silent partners, I would like to call them, because they also help us in implementing the product, as well as data management, entering or uploading data into the platform, which can be at times labor intensive, so they provide their able support on that. So that's the overall strength. We hope to grow more, certainly as the demand goes up and the platform expands, we would hire more people. One thing I would like to add is we also have a very robust partnerships with some of the technology companies whom we continue to engage when the need arises, if it is preparing some AI models or RPAs specific to a certain use case. We also have people in the 3D and digital twin technology space, so we are kind of engaged with a lot of outside partners as well.
Awesome. So that sums it up, Ameya. I guess there's a lot of opportunity coming at digital business.
Yes, there are a few openings actually right now. So any listeners, anybody interested in this whole vision and the company, we would love to hear from you. And please go on to the Acumen website or our LinkedIn pages to see what openings we have. And if you feel you're the right one, sure, drop us a note and we would love to.
Amazing. So that's it for today, guys. So yes, as Ameya said, he has a couple of openings right now, and as we grow the entire company and digital business as one of the most powerful business unit, there will be a lot of opportunities that would come a long way. And do not forget to visit the website, that is acumen.aero, and you would find a lot of opportunities over there. If you see fit any of those opportunities, do make sure to apply for them. So that's it for today. Thanks a lot, Ameya.
Thank you.
We'll meet you another time as well. So that was Ameya signing off. To all our viewers and listeners, we will be back again next month with yet another interesting topic in aviation. Till then, stay tuned.